Heart of Stone is the latest Netflix exclusive action thriller starring Gal Gadot, who, as of this recording, is still retaining the role of Diana Prince / Wonder Woman. And this was directed by Tom Harper, who is known for his work on shows like Peaky Blinders. This one just hit Netflix this past weekend, and I had the honor and privilege of sitting through it. Gal Gadot plays Rachel Stone, which is an awesome name. She's an intelligence operative, the only woman who stands between her powerful global peacekeeping organization and the loss of its most valuable and dangerous asset. Now, if this sounds to you like Mission Impossible with a female lead, you'd probably be right. Netflix movies this year have ranged from the awesome and epic like Extraction 2 to the big surprises like They Cloned Tyrone. Like, Netflix exclusive releases can be very much a mixed bag. They can either be humongous surprises that you can't help but recommend to your friends, or they can be incredibly boring hunks of shit. Sad to say, but Heart of Stone is an incredibly boring hunk of shit. The only positives that I can really gather out of watching Heart of Stone this morning, Gal Gadot is definitely trying her hardest with the material that she's presented with. And you know what? This is always a positive. I'm sure she got a really nice paycheck out of this. Maybe she can put one of her 3 daughters through college down the line. And then she can be at least thankful that she got the money from this project, but I don't know, man. I don't know. You also have Jamie Dornan in this movie, and I don't want to spoil exactly what his character is, but once you get deeper, it's pretty freaking obvious. And he's certainly committed to the material, and he's giving it his all. Golly, between 50 Shades of Grey, all 3 of them, the Robin Hood piece of trash that came out a few years back, like, his track record isn't looking very good. Because this movie, at its core, this wishes it was Mission Impossible so freaking much. This is coming from someone who reviewed all 7 Mission Impossible movies so far on this channel, and I'm able to follow them just fine, regardless of how complicated that they are. And I'm invested in the Mission Impossible movies as well from start to finish, because the characters are all so freaking great. Here, these characters are hollow shells. Like, you are not going to remember their names an hour after you finish this thing. You're not going to remember a darn thing about them. And yet the movie is kind of expecting you to know everything about them within the first 20 minutes. And with how clunky and how cringy this screenplay actually is, like, within those first 20 minutes, I was lost. I was talking to my girlfriend this morning, and she's like, "Oh, Heart of Stone, what's that about?" And I was like, hell if I know from what I can gather of this. I'm just glad that I did not have to put her through that ringer along with me. Now, this is supposed to be an action movie, right? As far as the choreography goes, it's very basic and very cookie cutter by the numbers action. But the way it's directed, it's like the editing and the quick cuts around it, you cannot see 80% of this action, which for an action movie, I would expect to see all of the action. And it very much feels like this is another one of those projects that was rushed into development, because the CGI on this looks very much unfinished, and it very much looks like it was shoehorned. Like, there's a whole sequence where Gal Gadot is running across this blimp that's exploding behind her, and it's like, oh, it's so funny. Like, it shouldn't be funny, because the movie wants this to be a super thrilling sequence. I just can't with this movie, man. I can't. This is a Skydance project as well. The same people behind Mission Impossible. Like, part of me feels like this movie was put on Netflix for people who didn't want to go to the movie theater and see Dead Reckoning Part 1, which, first of all, what the heck is wrong with you? Because that's still one of the best movies of the year. But if people wanted to save their money, keep it in their wallet for whatever reason, and they still wanted to support that movie, they put this out on Netflix as kind of a backup. This movie is very much a bench warmer to the Tom Cruise IMAX experience, because it wants to have these super complex characters and sophisticated themes and discussions. And it wants to be super exciting, and it wants to be super different from all the other action spy thrillers that we've gotten. But, like, you could sense where this story was going from a mile away. Within the first half an hour, you pretty much have the entire movie figured out, and it pans out exactly as you would predict. And there's just nothing overly exciting about Heart of Stone, which is super, super disappointing. Again, I'm glad that the talent in this, like Gal Gadot and Jamie Dornan, got paid, especially with the times we're living in right now. Those guys absolutely deserve it with how dedicated they are. I just wish the overall story gave me something different and something unique to hold itself amongst its own. And I know Netflix is capable of putting out good stuff. Extraction 2, great action movie from earlier this summer. They Cloned Tyrone is a very fun movie that I highly recommend you check out over this. But I mean, if it's late at night and you're a Netflix subscriber and you like to fall asleep to sounds in the background, if you're a fan of Gal Gadot, if you're a fan of Wonder Woman, if there's a movie that you just want to put on as background noise while you fall asleep, and if you want to fall asleep within an hour, perfect. I'm going to give Heart of Stone a D-. The only thing that's holding this movie back from being an F is the performances of our two leads. But this movie has every ingredient of a Mission Impossible movie without being riveting or exciting. Devoid of all merit, basically. Let me know what you thought of Heart of Stone down in the comments section below. What is your most disappointing movie of 2023 up to this point? Lots that we can discuss over here, and I'm talking all things movies and entertainment here almost on the daily. So if you're new, do consider subscribing and tap on that like button as well. This is a great community that's already been built over here, and y'all are invited to the party as well. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all are the best. Look forward to more videos very soon. Hopefully talking about lots better movies than Heart of Stone. Definitely skip this. I'm telling you. Guys, with all that being said, back talk, commence.